President Trump and his allies are celebrating the end of the impeachment trial as the Republican majority voted to acquit on both charges. The votes fell nearly along party lines, but Senator Mitt Romney was the only Republican to break rank. The president slammed Romney on Twitter after his vote. Nancy Cordes has been following this entire impeachment saga from Capitol Hill. Nancy, what is next?
Well, Laura, today we hear from the president himself. He's going to be speaking from the White House at noon Eastern time. The White House says it's going to be a fun hour. He will be speaking extemporaneously, no prepared remarks. But I can tell you that here on Capitol Hill, they're not quite as jolly. Yes, Republicans feel victorious, but there are a lot of bruised feelings. This was a brutal ordeal. One senator describing it as the toughest decision he has ever had to make.
It's over, America.
The White House celebrated Wednesday night, President Trump declaring it our country's victory. After a nearly 5-month-long process with more than 30 hours of public witness testimony and 180 questions from senators, the vote, as expected, fell well short of the 2/3 needed for removal.
That the said Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby, acquitted of the charges in said articles.
It was, in the end, a straight party line vote, with one notable exception.
The president is guilty of an appalling abuse of public trust.
Utah Republican Mitt Romney said the president did commit a high crime or misdemeanor when he used military aid to pressure Ukraine to investigate a political rival and his son.
There's no question in my mind that were their names not Biden, the president would never have done what he did.
He made his decision. As I said, I think it's a mistake.
Senate Republicans were forgiving.
Mitt Romney had us fooled.
The president was less so, tweeting out this video, claiming Romney is a Democrat secret asset. After the vote, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell repeatedly refused to say, as he has for months, whether Mr. Trump did anything wrong.
As far as I'm concerned, it's in the rearview mirror. What I'm here to talk about today is the political impact.
President Clinton apologized after his impeachment acquittal in 1999.
I want to say again to the American people how profoundly sorry I am for what I said and did to trigger these events.
Democrats do not expect the same contrition from Mr. Trump.
I would pray to the good Lord. I didn't see that lesson learned.
So, Nancy, we just heard how Senator Cruz feels about Senator Romney's vote. How are other Republican and Democratic senators reacting to it?
Well, Senate Republicans are being pretty magnanimous. I mean, yes, they say that they disagree with the decision that he came to, but they said that it's his right to have that belief, and they rejected any notion that he would somehow be expelled from the party because he voted this way. You're obviously seeing a very different reaction from the president and from his family. You saw Donald Trump Jr. tweet more than once yesterday that Romney should be rejected by the party, should be taken out of the conference, I suppose, forced to become an independent. Hard to explain how that would really work. Democrats obviously were thrilled. They saw it as some sort of small measure of consolation here. That, along with the fact that they were able to keep their entire caucus together, and that none of the 3 Senate Democrats who had been on the fence in the end decided to vote to acquit.
And on the flip side, Democratic Senators Kristen Sinema and Doug Jones, they both voted to convict on both articles. They're both up for re-election this year. So how could their decisions carry some political consequences for them?
I think they were highly aware that this was going to be a very difficult vote politically for them to take, and that's why they waited until the last minute to announce how they were going to vote. It was really interesting, Laura, to see how these 2 senators approached the very delicate situation they were in so differently. Doug Jones was very vocal about how difficult this decision was, that he was wrestling with it. He talked to us day to day to describe where his feelings were and what his issues were with the president's behavior, but why he might, in the end, vote to acquit. And so, he sort of put it out there for his constituents to see that he was really wrangling with this decision. Kyrsten Sinema, on the other hand, of Arizona, tried to keep as low a profile as possible. She never spoke to reporters about her decision, didn't make a speech on the Senate floor explaining why she was voting to convict. She just handed out a paper statement to the Arizona Republic right before the vote. So she was obviously hoping that this vote, to the extent possible, could sort of fly under the radar and that she wouldn't necessarily get a ton of attention for deciding at the end of the day to acquit, to convict the president.
And Nancy, you said it best. This has been day to day for these senators. This impeachment trial has really been mostly everything they've been doing over the last few weeks. So are Democrats and Republicans, do you think they're ready to move on from Ukraine and this investigation?
Democrats say no. Democrats are considering in the House bringing John Bolton in to testify. They may have to issue a subpoena. We'll see if that generates any kind of legal battle, but they're very strongly considering doing that after he was not called by the Senate to come in and tell them what he knows. So the House says it's going to continue to look into this situation. It wants to, pull the full story together for posterity. And obviously, they've got other investigations that will continue into this president and his financial dealings, his tax records, and all the rest. Republicans, yes, they are very ready to move on. You heard the Senate's Republican leader, Mitch McConnell, say that more than once yesterday afternoon. They are going to be moving to a judicial nomination in the Senate on Monday, a sign that they are trying to get back to the president's priorities as quickly as possible.
All right, Nancy Cordes on Capitol Hill. Thank you so much, Nancy.
You're welcome, Laura.